What is up, my children, my babies, my lovelies? What is up, y'all? How y'all doing? How are you guys feeling? Like, long time no speak. What is up? What's popping? I'm back again with another video, another episode, whatever you really want to call it, honey. Your mother is back. And woo, I just want to know how you guys are feeling because I know that last episode was a little emotional, it was a little touching, and it was a little vulnerable. So I was like, I gotta get back on the pod and just to check the vibes, make sure we still here, make sure we all still in tune with each other. Okay. I love getting vulnerable with you guys, although y'all know it's very, very tricky for me. I love being able to have a safe space. I love being able to be like, you know what, this is my diary. This is y'all's diary. We all in this together. So, that's why I also want to do an emotional check-in because, there's a lot of girls who are going through the same thing that I'm going through. A lot of my children are going through the same thing. So it's like, we got to check on each other at all times, honey, because if we don't got ourselves, who do we got? All right. Life is tough. Life is hard. It's so much going on. But, we in this together, y'all. You know your mother will never leave you alone. Okay. So, yes, like I said, if you have not been watching the podcast, if you've been not watching in chronological order, honey, every episode has something to do with each other. They all are in sync. And it's so crazy because it wasn't even intentional. It just kind of happened that way. But that's how you know it's meant to be. Okay. So the last episode we talked about being done. And girl, child, I was done. Okay. I was actually in the midst of closing a chapter when that episode came out. I had to literally close a chapter right after I was done making that episode. So of course it was very emotional. It was a very vulnerable moment, girl. We got real and we got raw. And I told y'all that I would keep y'all updated so y'all know what happens next. And girl, your mother did what she had to do. She closed the chapter, she closed the door, and it's been hard. It's been hard, but I've been doing and I've been feeling so much better and I've been feeling good. Temptation tries to slip it a bit, you know what I'm saying? And, just when you're with a person for so long and then you have to close that chapter and kind of start reintroducing yourself to other people, new things, new thoughts, new habits, it can get really hard. But I think it's so great that all of this kind of happened during the time of the new year too, because now we're in a new year to where I am focused on now. My whole focus is on how I can better myself for the new year. So I feel like everything intentionally happens for a reason. And y'all, let me just say this without giving y'all too much information, chat. When I closed that chapter, it was definitely a hard door to close, honey. That person was not having it. They did not really want to end things. And I think for me, it's kind of just like, I had to come to the terms with, okay, Jaya, although you feel like you're forced to let this person go and this person doesn't want to let go, you also have to understand that if something is meant to be for that person, like if it's really, really honestly and truly meant to be, honey, it'll find its way. Okay. Because God literally made sure that nothing progressed between me and this person for a reason, because there were still things that need to be worked on. There were still things that need to be talked about. And I wasn't going to continue to keep putting myself through that when I already tried to put the actual work in, and it's all up now to that person to do so. But I genuinely believe that everybody is put into someone's life for a reason. I really do. Either if it's for a reason, for a season, or whatever the case may be. But maybe I was supposed to be in that person's life and he was supposed to be in mine for us to teach each other something about ourselves. And I told y'all in the last podcast that I learned so much about myself being with him. Like I even low key, maybe high key, went back into therapy again. And it really wasn't solely because of him, but he helped me realize, okay, I am bringing behaviors and triggers that I have from my childhood into this relationship, and I need some help. I need somebody to talk to, okay? Because I can't do this all alone, honey. So I went and I got the help. Now, I understand that it might not be the same for everybody else. It may not be that easy for somebody else. Luckily for me, I've been in therapy before. Okay. So it wasn't super hard to go back, but it definitely was challenging because obviously I stopped going because things was getting a little too touchy. And then I finally realized, okay, like this is something I need. So that I had to come to that resolution honestly to myself because he wasn't the first person to tell me. I think it finally just made me realize, okay, like so many people have told me to the point where maybe the things that I'm doing are probably not right. Okay. And if everybody says that you a horse, you might be a horse. That was such a terrible analogy. But I say all that to say that I took the steps to want to better myself. And and I feel as though like I want to clarify some things from the last podcast because I feel like the way I was explaining things weren't exactly how it was. I don't want y'all to think that anything crazy happened, like I was cheated on or I was done dirty, dragged through the mud, honey. You know your mother could never. Okay, your mother would never. Okay, y'all know I would never ever put myself in a predicament like that, honey. Let me clarify that so y'all know that that is not the case. Okay. I didn't want to go into deep detail because obviously, girl, you never know who's watching. Okay, you never know who's watching, honey. But without going into deep detail, it was just some things that people had to deal with um emotionally. It was just things that people had to deal with in their past. And like for me, I had so many emotional triggers and so many things that I need to deal with my past. But luckily, like I said again, I've been in therapy in the past. So when I saw certain behaviors starting to flare up again, I knew that it was something that I had to do. But not everybody's on that same journey. And sometimes some people really do want the best and they really do want things to progress in their lives, but they don't know how to take that initial step to get rid of the past trauma so that they can fully be able to immerse themselves into something new. And that was kind of the situation that I was in. And I kind of was like telling this person, hey, like, you have the capabilities to do better and to want better. You have the capabilities to do better. You just have to want better so that you can do what you want to do. And what you want to do is to be with me. You want to do this, that, and the third. So anyway, y'all, I want to clarify that before we get into some things of this episode, honey, because I just, I went back and watched the episode and I was like, wait a minute, honey, that don't sound right. Let me clarify that. But yes, y'all, I say all that to say that episode kind of transitions into this episode because y'all know that last episode, honey, I kind of shedded a couple of tears. And I told y'all, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting vulnerable. Y'all know there's a lot of times on this podcast, even in season one, back in season one, I started crying again on the mic. And it was crazy because I never actually really shedded a tear on this podcast. I'll always be like, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. Maybe one time in season one, I actually cried, but I never actually like let the tear roll down my cheek in full form. So the fact that I actually cried, it was a very vulnerable moment for me, but it was something that needed to be done. And I'm so happy that it's done because little do y'all know, honey, your mother is not a crier. I don't ever really cry for real, but I'm in this new season in my life, honey, where I just love a good casual cry. And I don't know if it's because of the therapy I've been in lately. I don't know what it is, honey, but I am just embracing a good casual cry. Okay. So I wanted to get into that today for this episode because I'm like, you know what? For some of my babies and some of my children who watch that and may be struggling like how I was struggling, honey, or maybe feeling bad for crying. You don't got to feel bad for being in your emotions. You don't have to feel bad for actually having feelings. And you don't have to feel bad for actually needing a release. Okay. I am loving a good casual cry, honey. And this is coming from a girl who never shedded a tear. Like, I don't care what it was. I don't care. I was just, girl, just hard bodied. Who do I think I am? Girl, bye. Girl, bye, honey. I was acting like I was so hard body. Nothing could touch me, honey. Girl, those emotions, the emotions was beating me down left or right, and I just wouldn't shed a tear. And it's just like, I learned my lesson from that. Okay. So I want to get into some things. That's why I want to get into this episode today because I'm like, I love a good casual cry. And I want to talk about why. I want to talk about how I got to this point And I want to talk about why it's important to get to that point with yourself. And I just want to talk about being free to be vulnerable, letting out your wings, honey. It's a new year. Let's try something new. Okay. For all my girls that have to be strong. Let's get into it, y'all. Y'all already know we have to do first things first before we get into anything, especially since we about to get deep tonight, honey. Be sure to grab your wine, your popcorn. If you eating, you drinking, whatever you gotta do to stay on one accord with this episode, honey, grab it. First up, toast up. Clankety clank. Mm. Oh, this tastes good. Okay, y'all. So, boom. Oh, my goodness. I can't even believe I'm saying it myself, y'all. I am at a point in my life where I love a good casual cry. And let me tell y'all where I got this episode from. So, boom. Y'all, back in the day, around my first round of trying to do therapy, child, it was like back when I was in college. And girl, I needed therapy more than ever during this time. I was going through so much. I had I was going through family stuff. I was going through trying to work life balance, girl. I mean, you name it, I was going through it, honey. And it's crazy because when I was talking to my therapist at the time, I was telling her about something deep about my childhood, something that I pushed deep in the back of my head to the point where I never wanted to remember it. But my therapist was able to find some possible way to get it out of me. And when she did, I started feeling like these wave of emotions. And it was crazy because I never actually cried about it, or I never actually wanted to feel anything about my childhood and what was going on. So I kind of just like bottled it up. And girl, it was so crazy because I was talking to her, and as I was talking to her, girl, my throat started itching. You know when you about to cry, child, your throat start getting all heavy, chest start, you can't breathe. I mean, girl, it just sounds like a struggle, especially when you're trying to actually hold it back. That's not pretty. Okay, that gets real. That's when it starts to get ugly. That's when it starts to get ugly. Okay, so I was literally talking to her, and I could barely speak. Like I was like, girl, tears ready to release, begging for a release. My eyes is watering. I can barely see. I'm going cockeyed. Like, girl, I was literally in pain trying to hold back my tears. And my therapist said to me, she was like, Jaya, it's okay to cry. And I actually couldn't even believe she said that to me because it sounds like something so, you know, for the lack of better terms, like it sounds like something so regular. Like, what do you mean it's okay to cry? I know it's okay to cry. Already defensive mode. And it's kind of just like, do you really know it's okay to cry though? It's almost as if somebody, you are working and you're so used to being a workaholic, and then somebody tells you it's okay to rest, and you like, well, of course I know it's okay to rest. But no, it is okay to rest, because if you know that it's okay to rest, then you would actually do it. You would actually try to imply it for your mental health, for your sanity. And I needed to hear that more than ever, y'all. And still to this day, those words of it's okay to cry plays in my head over and over again, because I've been through so much in my life, ups, downs, round and rounds, child. And I'm sorry, now I'm off. Now my mind going crazy because I'm over here thinking about up, down, round and round, left cheek, right cheek, right cheek, round and round. I'm sorry, y'all. My mind is crazy. But anyway, just hearing those simple words, it's okay to cry. I never knew how much weight that really held on my life. And thinking about that is kind of just like, why did I feel like it wasn't okay? Why did I feel like it was okay to navigate through life not being able to release those emotions? Even if I'm not even sad enough, like, why did I feel like it wasn't okay to express some type of emotions? And then I had to realize, how is this affecting me in the long run? How has this affected my relationships, my friendships, my work life? Having to feel like I had to be strong all the time. And girl, I'm even scared to talk about being strong on this podcast because y'all tore me to pieces when I said I didn't want to be called a strong black woman. Okay? It's even when I say that right there, I mean, when you have the world constantly attacking you for little things that you do, it can be hard to even want to be vulnerable. It really can, because you're putting yourself out there for people to feel the need, for people to have the open space to judge you. But when you look at it in that standpoint, you'll never be happy. You'll never be free. Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand that people are going to judge you regardless, happy, sad, whatever the case may be. So you just got to be yourself regardless. You got to be able to feel how you want to feel regardless of the fact, because people are always going to have something to say. They're always going to have something to say, especially when it comes down to something that you're passionate about or the way you feel about it. So why not do something to your fullest potential? Why not feel the way you feel, because you deserve to feel the way you feel? And can't nobody take that away from you. That's the thing about loving a casual cry. It's the fact that no matter what, nobody can ever take your feelings away from you. You are entitled to your own feelings, regardless of the fact. Okay, just as much as they're entitled to judge you, you are entitled to feel the way you want to feel and to say however you want to say and to handle it however you want to handle it. Okay, and that's the thing people be forgetting. Okay, people be so quick to judge and to have something to say all the time, but I also have the right to feel and have the right to retaliate, or have the right to be able to take it some type of way if I want to take it some type of way. But at the end of the day, no matter what, I have the right to have a release. And it's okay to want to release those things, okay? And I say this to say that this is not even to mean that you have to be upset or angry or mad at a situation. It could even be when you're overwhelmed. Because when you're overwhelmed, you're putting your mind in a vulnerable state to just say, look, I can't take it anymore. I need to take a step back. You know what I mean? But it's okay to be able to admit to yourself that I might need to cry about it. I'm so overwhelmed. I might need to cry about it. Why? Because crying is another form of release. And I don't know about you, but when I'm overwhelmed, I need a form of release. I need a form of freedom. And release is another form of freedom in a sense. And when you don't do that, you're almost keep holding yourself captive. And am I supposed to do that for you? Am I supposed to do that because I might look bad? Because to me personally, I feel like I already look bad when I'm already feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling upset about something, or I definitely feel bad when I'm bottling up all of these emotions that are constantly overlaying within myself, constantly, because life doesn't stop, baby. It's going to keep going regardless of how you really feel. Let's keep it real. So, what am I supposed to do? Continue to keep bottling up those feelings, harboring that inside of me? No. Once you start tying crying or a casual cry into a certain form of emotional release, life will be so much easier and better for you. We got to take away the negative connotation when it comes down to crying. Because I think we, especially even as a Black woman, or as a Black man, we look at crying as a form of weakness. And we try to avoid that so much that we end up breaking ourselves down to where we get to a point of weakness. Do you understand? When you are not able to control your emotions anymore, to me personally, I don't know about y'all, but that is a form of weakness. A strong person is a person that's able to control themselves in any forms. But when you are uncontrolled of that, when you are easily able to be easily agitated, easily in anger, or whatever the case may be, that is a weak person that is weak minded. And I feel as though when we are taught at a young age to not cry, to not express ourselves, we're only building ourselves to be weaker rather than stronger. Because at the end of the day, you're going to bust. So we have to be able to come together as a collective to see a casual cry as an emotional release. Crying can be a healthy way. It can be a natural way for the body to release accumulated stress, tension, or even a minor emotional buildup from your daily life. You know what I mean? And who's to say that you got to cry in front of everybody? I ain't saying you got to cry in front of everybody, honey. I'm still taking it day by day. I'm just saying, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough with yourself to wherever you're having a moment in your room, you're having a moment by yourself to just release. Let it out. Because at the end of the day, what people don't understand is that crying can be an emotional reset. After a brief cry, you're able to feel better and achieve that sense of calmness. I don't know about y'all, but when I finally let it all out and then I breathe, I get this wave and sense of just like peace. Once your body starts to lower those stress hormones, it then starts to trigger those feel good endorphins and it signals vulnerability to gain social support. It helps you process intense emotions and reset your nervous system. Even if the immediate situation isn't fully resolved, you still have given yourself that your body first, that form of release. Y'all know I always say putting yourself first is the first step to a place of peace because you're coming from within. And that's the difference. Even if the situation isn't fully resolved, you've took the first step to start with yourself before handling anything else. And once you come from a place of peace, you'll be able to react towards anything in positivity or to react towards anything with just taking a breath and taking a step back because you've been able to come to terms with yourself first before anything. We got to stop putting crying as a negative thing. Crying during happy moments are another form of relief. Crying when you finally have finished that test, when you've known everything that you've done, when you studied, when you put your life to it, and you finally have this place of just like, when you finally reach this place of just like, wow, I did it. I'm done. And you cry and you let that out, that's a form of happiness. That's a form of release too. You deserve to be able to celebrate yourself in that time. And crying to me is a form of celebration. It's coming to terms with yourself and your emotions. And that is a lot to say coming from me, but I just want that to be known that it's possible. It's true. It can happen. And these are true forms of relief that you deserve to have too. I say all that to say that, like, I'm learning that it's okay to be me. It's okay to understand all sides of me. I'm learning that it's okay to understand all sides of me. And I am, again, so excited to go through this journey with you guys because we're going through this together and we're figuring this all out together. Just remember, who are you allowing to have the power? Okay. So, anyways, y'all, I am so excited again for the rest of this season because I just feel like we are in a healing phase and it was just so unintentional, but I'm loving it. I am loving it, loving it, loving it. Cheers to that, honey. Clinkety clank again. All right, children, this is coming from your mother, honey, who now loves a good casual cry, honey. Okay. I was about to say I'm about to go cry right now, but I'm not. I'm about to go to sleep. And if I don't go to sleep in the next hour, I might just cry. Okay. But anyways, y'all, I love y'all so, 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 so much. Continue to keep, thugging it out with me on this journey. We're having such a good time. So make sure to rate this podcast 5 stars, especially if you have been relating so much to these topics lately. Okay. Make sure to rate this podcast 5 stars. Make sure to follow me on my podcast page, childplease.amd. That stands for A Mother's Diary, childplease.amd. And to make sure to follow my personal page so we can be personally connected. That's the Jaya Alexis, honey. Alexis, honey. Thank you. I love you guys so, 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 so much. And yeah, I don't know. Go cry about it. Mwah. Bye.